You're listening to I Communicate with your host, Mark Altman, on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Once again, here's Mark.
Welcome back to I Communicate, back with Ryan Nichols, Will Schiffman, and Matt McCarthy. And, Ryan, I want to go to you. We just talked to Will about, habits and things like that. So you had said to me during the break that you like to be around people who are comfortable communicating and expressing their feelings and things like that. So let's take a scenario where you have a roommate who is being messy, it's driving you nuts, and you need to talk to that person. So let's do a role play on the air so people can see what an awesome communicator you are.
Great.
So I'll be the roommate, and you're talking to me, so let me know how that would work. Go ahead.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well. I don't mean to cause any problems, but I've noticed that the room has been fairly messy, and I think it would be beneficial to both of us if we were to figure out a way to clean it together and keep it in its clean state.
And so when you say, Ryan, when you say beneficial to both of us, how would it be beneficial to me? Because I'd have to change my habit. I'm being such a jerk.
You see, beneficial to you in the sense that if you were to have a guest or a friend over, they wouldn't be A, scared off by the room, or B,
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. So I want to go back. What did you guys think of that? Yeah, Matt, what did you think of? I thought that was pretty good. What did you think of Ryan's approach?
It was good because I've seen him use that in real situations before. Like, he's always going to be very, very friendly with people, and I think that's a very important thing when you're going to talk to somebody about something like this, especially with someone you're living with. Like, I shared a room with my younger brother for my whole life, so I've had a fair share of these type of run-ins before, but I think it's just being upfront with the person is the most important thing you can have in this situation.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Matt. And what I noticed, Ryan, about what you did is I noticed mostly really good things. There's one recommendation I'm going to make, but mostly really good. First of all, you said, I noticed, so it was about you, not about them. You used I's to you. That was really good. You tried to make it a collaborative thing, how it would benefit both, and I think your answer for that was really strong. We just have to remember that when you say, I don't want to cause any problems, but the but kind of negates everything. Exactly. So just but otherwise I thought it was great. So Matt, what about a situation where, let's put Matt on the spot. What about a situation where you've got a roommate that stays up excessively late and you've got early classes and you need to sleep? That's a hard thing to vet out ahead of time. Yeah. So what do you do? I'll roll. Actually, why don't we let Will role play the student who's staying up excessively late, and why don't you tell Will what you would say in that situation?
Okay, I do stay up late usually, okay. But I...
Oh, so you're the offender.
Yeah, it'll probably be me. But okay. I'll say, I will. I have a 7 a.m. class tomorrow. I got a big test. I was just wondering if for tonight you could just turn the light on your phone down a little bit, put some headphones in, so I can go to bed.
Yeah, I get that, but it's the start of my weekend right now. Trying to get
it's not the weekend. I have class tomorrow morning.
Oh,
so.
true. So.
Apparently, Will's weekends go from Wednesday to Monday.
He's on a bend.
We don't have classes that day.
Seriously.
But hey, just think about it. I'm gonna go to sleep, and if I wake up, then we can talk about it again.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
And by the way, you can't see because it's radio, but Matt made great eye contact with Will the whole time. So, look, here's the thing I want to ask you guys. You guys did a real good job with that. Will, I want to look at you and I want to ask you, when you graduate high school, when you're home this summer, if you were to think, what are the most important skills? Give me 2 or 3 skills that you said that you took from your growing up and being in school that you think are going to serve you so well in college. What would you say those are?
I'd say keeping an open mind to people. I mean, no matter where everyone goes, we're going to meet new people that we haven't really, had around us. I mean, Westboro is a pretty tight-knit community, and I think meeting other people from other areas, and they have different opinions about different things, you just have to keep an open mind to it, I feel like.
That's a great one. And what about you, Ryan? What would be one you would say that serves you?
Well, definitely keeping an open mind is very important, but one that probably is also equally as important to me would be just the idea of not being, or not being so closed-minded towards just the things that the school has to offer. There's like going to a college, they want you to not only get good grades and be a good student there, but they also want you to be an active part of the school community. And I think that's something that from the transition from high school to college, a lot of students could lose in the idea of just now they want to focus on what they want to do when they're older, getting a job, getting internships, and setting themselves up. They kind of lose sight of the in the now moment. And I think being part of
being present with the experience.
Yeah,
that's great.
Being in high school and like being a part of a bunch of different clubs and organizations, it's a big part of the things that I'm going to take with me to college. A lot of the good memories come from these clubs and different organizations, and that's something that I think is very important that people continue to do.
So Matt, if you were to, one of my big things is when I think about school and I think about education, one of my concerns is there's a lot of things we learn in school that don't really relate to what we're going to need as we progress and grow. So knowing what you know now, if you were going to add a couple of classes to school based on skill development and whatever, you said, boy, I wish I could have had a class on blank and blank in high school. What do you think should be taught in high school that's not?
This is one that I've heard come up a lot, but it just like there is classes you can take. I've taken it. Personal finance was a class, and that just it was a good class, but it was very baseline, I think. And I just think being able to go more in depth and like learn how to basically manage your own money would be something that's really important for everybody to have. That's the thing that comes to mind first. Just being able to be self-sustaining after high school and not really have to worry about anyone else.
Now, Will, let me play devil's advocate to what Matt said for a minute. I do hear that a lot too, Matt. Like you, I would almost argue. I mean, you're never too young enough to learn about finance. So let's just put that out there. That's a great thing. However, I would argue that most colleges, you can learn about finance in college. Yeah. And when you graduate from high school, you really don't have a lot of money to necessarily take care of yet. I'm talking about more, what are some communication skills, Will? What are some things you need to know how to do that you still, to this day, like you've either never been taught or don't have enough experience to do it, that you wish you would know as you graduate high school?
Yeah. So I took that personal finance class, and I thought it was very helpful. But on what you're saying, I think that presenting yourself in the way that you want someone to see you, like have a good first impression, is very important. And I think just being able to talk about yourself, but also get the other person to talk about themselves, because people love to talk about themselves. So I think that that would be just very helpful to get them involved instead of just having them ask you questions.
So Ryan, what about the thought process? Will talks about presenting himself. What about the thought process? You guys all know each other. Westboro's not that big of a community. You know the people in your class. You're starting all over again. And I don't know if all of you have lived in Westboro all the way through, but you have not started all over again in a long time. What are some concerns, fears, challenges you anticipate based on that?
Well, I mean, just going into it, just being not alone, but in a way on your own, it's definitely tough to be able to kind of get a grasp of a similar group of people that you may have committed yourself to at your hometown, or even just it's tough just because everyone's alone.
Yes.
Everyone's alone. So like no one has this, no one's going into it in a confident manner, I'd say. So I think just one thing keeping in mind going into college, and just that everyone is going into the same situation. No one has the upper hand. You all need to be confident and comfortable in who you are, and those people kind of show themselves.
So, see, Ryan, to me, that tells me something about you, how you answer that question, because your mindset came out there, right? It'd be easy to say, hey, we're alone. It is a new group of people. But Ryan said, but wait, we're all in the same boat. Yeah. So just the fact that you can process that and the maturity, that's huge, because that's a mindset thing to realize, wait, okay, we're all in the same boat. So I will tell you guys, before I get to Will, one of my big things, if I had to say one of the most important things that I think kids don't graduate with high school that they need to is know how to motivate themselves on their own without adults motivating them. So, Will, for you, you're getting motivated by your parents, by your teachers, by your hockey coach. So what about you? What are some areas, there's this one aspect of, hey, I'm free, I'm in college, I can make my own schedule, I can spend time. But there's a downside, which is you used to have people in your life that were kind of reminding you, hey, Will, you got to do this or you got to do that. What are your thoughts on how you're going to motivate yourself in some of those areas?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough after high school to just, not have anyone telling you to do stuff. But I'd say, just setting goals for yourself throughout the year and where you want to be, I think is a big thing. And I think just making sure that you're present in class every day and trying to make sure that you're, I don't know how to say it, but, you're, confident in what you're doing, I'd say.
So, and Matt, can you remember something in the last year or two where you've actually set out and set specific and tangible goals for yourself on something?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I got in all my applications in on time. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But back to the motivation thing, I just have one thing. I think once we get to college, once we're in a major that's more pertains to what we want to do, I know the first year is not going to be all that stuff, but I think the drive for the first year for me will be that I'll be able to focus on that stuff the second year. And I think once I'm there, since I'll be doing what I am personally interested in, I don't think it'll be so much of a problem or as big of a problem as it is now to want to focus on and do stuff if it's something that I'm really interested in, as pertains to a chemistry class that I don't really.
So that's a great point, Matt. And I'm going to table the goals topic until when we come back from the break. But one other quick question I want to ask you. Do you have something, when you're not motivated to do something, homework, chores, whatever it is, do you have something that you tell yourself to kind of snap you out of it at that moment?
Yeah, I just think about where I am now and how much of a better place I'd be in if I were to do the things I had to do now, and as opposed to holding them off for the longest I possibly could.
Okay.
I am a very big procrastinator at the same time, but I try to when I can find a way to motivate myself. I think that would just be the way, is just thinking ahead in the future to the point in time when I wish I had done it now.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about, these three guys have some great opinions on what's wrong with our education system and how they would fix it. And we're going to talk more about goal setting and how they go about goal setting in the present and in the future. So again, this is Ryan Nichols, Will Schiffman, Matt McCarthy. This is Mark Altman with iCommunicate, Finding Your Voice. We'll be back after the break.